Let's get into Magic Round. Fantastic weekend ahead. We kick off on so the Thursday night game actually is West Magpies. Yeah, the West Magpies and
North Sydney at North Sydney Oval.
Yeah, they're showing reserve grade. So you'll see Simpkins. Jock Madden would have been there, but he's not. For those that wouldn't have seen Jock yet, he's named on the bench. But Sini back there playing fullback, they're the top team in Reggie's. Second team in reserve grade, undefeated still.
Penrith are undefeated. They've won their last 6 by at least 30 points. So they're on that same level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hot team in reserve grade. Yeah. It should be a fun game of footy. So check that out It's All Covered on Fox Thursday night.
Well, you know what? North's a third too. If you can get out to North Sydney Oval on the night, I mean, I probably won't, but I wouldn't actually mind going to that game. Never been to North Sydney Oval before. Should be a cracking game. And
lovely ground, North Sydney.
Yeah, and you know what? I hope people just don't watch rugby league on Thursday night just because first grade's not on. I hope people actually get around it.
I think
viewership rate.
Yeah, I think people will just out of habit flick it on and check it out. So the Friday is the Tigers playing Newcastle.
Sean Bloor back.
Sean Bloor comes back in to the bench. Someone I didn't mention actually in the review, Alex Seyfarth's been doing a pretty good job for the Tigers.
He has been
whatever that means, for the way they're going. Zach Sini gone for Tommy Talau to come back in. Dewey moved to 3 and By starting at 6.
Don't understand that at all.
I feel like Madden will end up starting.
My thinking is there's 2 ways you're going to go here. I just look at the extended bench. The more I've thought about this, is I could see a situation where Brooks gets dropped and they either start Madden and they just don't want the hoo-ha this week, and Madden starts 7, or Mabai starts on the bench, Madden starts 6 or 7 and Brooks starts 6, and they just don't want the hoo-ha around Madden. I'm thinking, logically, there's nothing else I want to say. The only thing I'll say is that they need to shore up the back line, so that's why Dewey's defending out there, and now he's just made my GT team, so it's good.
But no real changes for Newcastle.
And Newcastle, as per program from last week.
Hunt's come in on the bench, and
they're 1 to 17.
He's been dropped out.
Yes, so that was my thinking in terms of why they might have done what they've done. We'll see.
It's just, is it worth moving arguably your best player to the centres?
No, hell no.
Not without a further plan. Not without.
I suppose, but
Madden,
I was going to say you'd have to be really banking on Madden having a.
But all the attack from the Tigers over the last probably month has come off the back of Dewey.
Yeah, I know when he's been in the middle.
There's been no point scoring coming from anywhere apart from Dewey putting people through holes.
Yeah.
And
I could see a situation where Dewey and Madden potentially, and maybe I'm thinking too much in fantasy land. Dewey and Madden start the starting halves. Dewey and Madden start starting halves, but they just don't want to have the big hoo-ha about it.
Brooks gets scanned.
Or Cheekham, who's on the extended bench, starts centre, and they put Mbai back to the bench. If that's the case,
I actually like that more than what's been named, to be honest. I'd take
so
that.
I should.
But again, are you saying that's not been named because you don't obviously?
They don't want the draft. The one, they don't want the Brooks circus for a week. 2, they don't want the Madden circus for a week. So get up there, 5:30 p.m. Everyone's in the sheds. Go through warm-ups. Oh, by the way, late change. Dewey to 6. Dewey to 6. Madden to 7.
If you saw
Blocky.
If you saw Brooks run out on the Thursday night for the Magpies.
Well, he's in the bubble, so he's up there. And all of this could be because they just have to be in the bubble. They have to get him up there and whatever else. But I can't imagine Dewey not having hands on ball like he has been. He's been the best player. I'm actually, for the last time ever, potentially going to tip the Tigers. I think Newcastle were very, very bad, and I just asked for 70 minutes from him instead of 40. Tigers safe. It'll be like 14-12, I think. It won't be a pretty game. Tommy Talau first try, and even whether he's in the centres, fullback, hooker, Dewey will be man of the match if the Tigers were to win, because he's been that good this year, Bun.
Just on the back of what Newcastle did in that second half against the Raiders, I know the Raiders fell away, but the Tigers weren't anything better than what Newcastle put up in that second half. I'm going to go Newcastle 13+. I think they're going to target they're going to target that right edge, and I'm going to go with Bradman Best, first try scorer, and left edge, right edge of the Tigers, and Ponga man of the match.
Yeah, the terrifying is that it's Ponga's pet play. Like, it's absolute Ponga land to tear the... And that is probably why Dewey's defending, actually, now I think of it. Because that's Dewey's, Ponga's going life is that sweep to that
Yeah,
side.
but if they drag him in, then you got issues
honestly,
outside.
Yeah. Oli?
But
I'm going with your boys, the Tigers. Look, they're not going to be great, but again, I think Newcastle are just crap. My man of the match is going to be Luciano Leilua. I think he'll have a dominant performance up against a forward pack that should be one of the best in the game, but they're not. So I think he might run roughshod over him. I'm going to say first try scorer. You know, I'll give it to him just because I stuffed him up before with Kapoa. I'm going to say Tommy Talau, first try scorer.
nice.
Very nice.
I like it.
We get to the main event on the Friday, the Seagulls in Brisbane with poor old Carrigan out for the season. Flegler goes into lock, Asiata back on the bench. Tapau and Paseka's been named. Paseka just needs to pass the HIA. I will go, this could be a space job if both teams turn up in the same form they turned up last week. Is that sorry?
Tapau?
Yes, Tapau back, yes. I'm saying Manly by 20. Turbo, obviously, man of the match, and Morgan Harper running off Turbo will be first try scorer. Oli?
Yeah, well, the first thing that comes to mind just about this fixture in particular, I wonder when the last time actually was Manly and Brisbane versed at Brookvale Oval, because even before Magic Round, and it was sort of pre-Magic Round, for about 5 years or so, it used to be the double-header Titans-Bulldogs, and it'd be a Titans home game at Suncorp, and then it'd be a Manly home game against Brisbane. So if anyone out there can let us know, that'd be interesting, at least for me, because it's probably been about at least 10 years or so since they've played at Brookvale, unless they've played in the finals. Yeah, I can't picture any occasion off the top of my head. Anyway, that's just my brain working weird. I'm going to go with Manly as well here. I'm not going to say by 20. I feel like if we get that effort from Brisbane, it could be 12 to 16 points, I'll say. So I will still say 13 plus. Man of the match is going to be Tom Trbojevic, just because it is going to be Tom Trbojevic. And I'm going to say first try scorer. You know what? To get over it early for the Broncos, I'm going to go with TPJ, Tavita Pangai Jr. Just crash over about 5 metres out from line, get the ball. Hot start for Brisbane in front of their home crowd, even though they're not playing at home during Magic Round.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna go Manly 13 plus. I think this Manly pack will hold the Brisbane pack, and that's about all Brisbane have to offer, to be honest. Generally, when they win, they do it through their pack, and then they've got time and space to go off the back of that. I'm going to go first try scorer Olaka Atal to run over Jesse Arthurs on that right-hand edge. As you already mentioned, Jesse Arthurs in attack, he's quite good, but I don't think he's going to stop Hamoli when he just runs straight over the top of him and scores the first try. And Turbo's just going to chime in on both sides and link with his halves and just do what he did last week and carve the Broncos apart.
Well, Bulldogs and Raiders kick us off 3 p.m. Saturday. Hopefully everyone just goes to Doomben during the afternoon, doesn't have to watch this game.
Hey, Bulldogs at $5.50. hey.
I thought that last week, but honestly. This could be in the conversation for worst game of the year, the way both teams are playing. It'll probably go for 3 hours and have to postpone the next 2. Wakeham and Avarillo named in a halves. Flanagan been benched altogether. Dury onto the into 17. Hodgson comes back into the 14 for the Raiders. Rapana Valame starts for him. Hudson Young starts for Sutton, and Tarpanay's out as well, which sees we've got Haru Naira, Elliott, Whitehead, and Hudson Young the back row. The new back row as usual for Canberra. Oli?
Canberra have to win this game. We said last week, okay, yeah, but they're literally up against the worst team in the competition. They have to win this game. They've now lost 5 in a row. If they lose this game, Ricky will be sacked in 2-3 weeks. This will be where the board looks at it and go, okay, we're off him now.
You might get sacked the day after.
Yeah. Well, then, usually there's that couple-week period where the rumours start coming out and then it occurs. But they'll be done with him if they lose this game. The big thing for me, I know we were criticising Kyle Flanagan a bit before, but I think he's still the Bulldogs' best half. And the reason why he's been dropped is as a wake-up call for him so he can play better when he comes back. It's not necessarily to improve the side this week, because sure, Averillo presents a bit, but like in there with Wakem, what are they really going to do?
As a 7.
I like to think it's not even a wake-up call. I think it's like a go away and... That sounded bad. Like a go and just refresh up and go and play reserve grade. And
hopefully come back better for us. It's not to improve the team this week at all, because he's still the best
bloke that lost the world title fight, just go and fight number 24 and beat the crap out of him.
And this
that's it. That's right. I can punch.
This one's going to be, I guess, a little bit of a do I go with it? No. You know, I was going to say Seb Chris for first try scorer and man of the match, just because Canberra have been so poor and he's been one of their shining lights. I will still stick with first try scorer, and honestly, he might get a double or a hat-trick up against that Bulldogs back line. But I will say man of the match, Jack White, and just because he'll show up against the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I'm going to go Canberra 13 plus, because if they don't win this forward battle, I don't know what forward battle they're going to win in the next, for the next 20-odd games of this year, or 15, whatever it may be. Man of the match, Whiten, because generally anything good that happens points-wise for the Raiders comes off the back of Whiten. Wouldn't be surprised if Williams has a pretty good game, because when you flat track bully stuff and start organising blokes to score points. And I'm going to go first try scorer Tom Starling, because he loves a dart from dummy half. And if they're camped on the Dogs line, I'm not sure they're going to stop him if he jumps out and has a crack.
I'm going to say Raiders by 12. I think it'll just be a terrible game. I think Whiten will be first try scorer. Just the usual barge over through the just off the side of the edge there. Yep. And I think in terms of, like you said, owning forward packs, it's time for Papa'i to own a forward pack and hopefully get a bit of his juju back.
Juju.
Sharks and Bunnies on the Saturday at 5:30. Raymond goes out for Dugan. Fafita comes back onto the bench. Reynolds named at 7 for the Bunnies, with Marshall at 6. Couple of the changes to the bench there. I'm going to say Souths will get their juju back by building this team. Gagai first try through all of the terrible edge stuff we've talked about. And Reynolds back will just push Benji a little bit wider and give him the space to be Benji, and he'll be man of the match. Oli.
Yeah, I'm going Rabbitohs 13 plus as well. For man of the match, I'm going to go with Damien Cook. I feel like this season we're yet to see him break teams apart like he would in previous years. He's got the opportunity well and truly to do so this weekend, I think. And, the criticism, I guess, is starting to pop up. I guess even for Australian hooker, that Harry's a better player and that he's got to react at some point soon. And I'm sorry, Barney, but what better team than Cronulla to do it against, at least for Damien Cook. And I just look at that forward pack, and he'll get South Sydney on the front foot, and he'll get those forwards tired from chasing early from Cronulla. So I'm going to say he gets man of the match and possibly runs up towards 200 metres, if I'm honest. And I'm going to say first try scorer, I'm going to go with AJ.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go, so now I'm going to change that right now because I want to. The fact that they've still got Jack Williams in this team and they've pushed Magoulias out of the team to fit for Feeder in does not I do not understand that one bit at all. Jack Williams has had more than enough chances. He was 13 all of last year. He's been coming off the bench this year and he's done sweet fuck all. Last week was probably his best game of the year. Magoulias hasn't been given a chance, even under this fucking caretaker coach. He's still only getting 15, 20 minutes, and I do not understand why
like the Bulldogs chasing
they
him.
persist with that
Seriously,
bullshit.
put him at 6.
He'd probably go all right at 6 or hooker. He'd probably be a pretty good hooker. I don't understand why he's been pushed out and fucking Jack Williams is still getting the game in first grade. He's not a first grader. I'm only going to go 1 to 12 just because of how bad that the Rabbits were last week. I understand that at their best they will absolutely destroy this Sharks team, but I'm holding on to hope just for hope's sake. I'm going to go man of the match is going to be Cook because the middle's going to get busted apart. It's not going to get busted apart as much as it should because the South pack isn't as good as other packs that are running around, e.g. Penrith last week. And I'm going to go first try scorer Walker on same thing on that sweet play on the left, but I think Walker's not going to pass it to AJ and he's going to go himself and score the first try.
Roosters Cowboys play to wrap up the Saturday night. Cowboys get to be 1 to 17 for the first, from last week for the first time. Lockie Lamb back at 6, and they get Tupanua back the Easts.
The Easts. I'm not even sure Sam Walker's going to play, just the way he was holding onto his shoulder, to be honest. And Victor Radley seemed to cop a pretty bad knock last week
he
too,
has to,
and he may not
pass
HIA as well.
If
I was going to go for an upset, this would probably be the upset of the weekend, but I've convinced myself that I'm going to pick the favourites in every game this weekend, so I'm going to go the Roosters, and I'm going to go the Roosters 13 plus. Fuck it. James Tedesco to just fucking absolutely run amok because he's been quiet for the last month, and first try scorer and man of the match.
I was just going to say at this point, if Walker doesn't play, is it Tedesco to the halves, Manu to fullback, and now I know we've been saying it every week, but it's going to have to happen now that Ikavalu's a full-time first grader for the rest of the year, Suwali. I'm going to say man of the match. It's a bit of an out there one, but I'm going to say Ben Marshke just because of the performance last week against the Eels. Robbo will be saying to him, well, if you can defend like that against one of the best sides in the competition, like this week,
fuck out of these
yeah,
folks.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm saying a good defensive effort again, back up around 50 tackles. For first try scorer, I'm going to go with Matt Ikavalu. He actually got 5 against the Cowboys last year. If I remember correctly, it was 4 or 5, and he came in for BMOS, and he was that last-minute replacement. I'm not saying he's going to get 5 again. He might get a couple. But, yeah, I've got him for first try scorer. Roosters 13 plus.
Roosters by 24, tipping some big scores this week. Teddy first try, hands on ball, just splitting through the line, sort of Jack White style, just busting open a little bit. One pair wide against a slow defence, exposing some of those famous pot plants. And the returning Tupanua off the freshen up, I think, can own this forward back. He was on a very good upward spiral, and he'll continue that. Warriors and Eels, maybe the game of the weekend, from many points of view. Ben Murdoch-Masala back for the Warriors. Jacob Arthur's named at 6 for the Eels. Which sees Ray Stone on the bench because... What have I done here? Ray Stone comes on because they got rid of someone whose name escapes me. Sorry, my phone just died.
Is it Wiramu Greig?
Wiramu Greig goes, Bryce 17, Stone 16, Lane at 15, Kafusi 14. Obviously question marks on Nathan Brown a little bit. And Reid Mahoney has to pass his protocols. Richard probably see Lussick.
I'm devastated Niokora has been out through suspension because Waka just walks back in
and puts Fergo out of the game.
And the old mate on outside of him ain't going to fucking touch the ball. I don't think it matter.
I'm saying Para 1 to 12.
Maybe he's been revitalised. Maybe
he's been learned how to pass.
Oh, sorry.
Hopefully.
All my waffle, what my notes was going to say is if Brown goes out, I'll suspect Blake might start. And there was some discussion, Blake even starting at 6 early today from some places.
Can't pass the ball to a winger. How the fuck's he going to pass it to anybody else?
No, Blake. Bryce, sorry, not Blake.
Bryce.
I was thinking that too.
Bryce at 6.
And, could cop that, I think.
And, so I'd imagine Lane just comes back in if not. I'm saying Para 1 to 12. I'm saying Warriors, typical Warriors. They'll do well. Papa Ihi first try against his old team and just busting over in probably they'll drag him into the 20-minute sort of mark, I think, before first try.
Yep.
And by default, I have to tip Gutho man of the match in a tough game.
I'm going with you, mate. I'm going Eels 1 to 12. I'm going to go first try Madison. I'm going to go the other side. I think same deal, short pass off a running half and dive over for the first try. And Gutherson, because I think he's going to have to take up a bit of the halfback play and a bit of the ball distribution.
Well, if he's playing first receiver or second receiver,
and he's going to have to jump in because the Warriors ain't going to give Parramatta the time and space that they're going to get out of the forwards that they got last week or a lot of times this year, because this Warriors pack's going to match Parramatta's pack, if not better them. Probably not better them, but they're going to go a long way to getting close to them. So Gutherson man of the match.
I'm going to agree and say Para 1 to 12. Forward pack battle is going to be very interesting. We say that with the Warriors every week, but again, Papa'i'i up against his old club. I think it's going to be him just about. He's going to have help, but it's really going to be him against the Warriors forwards, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Going to be interesting too, I guess, to see Kane Evans up against his old club as well. Named to start there. Interesting thing for me is how Reece Walsh is going to be used, because I agree he has to be starting somehow, but how and when are they going to bring him into this game? Maybe on for a Wade Egan and then Nikarima goes to hooker. But yeah, Parra 1-12. It's going to be a good contest. If you were tipping the Warriors for the upset, I mean, I wouldn't be going with you, but I could see you thinking there.
It's the only upset I can see this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, depending on what you consider Tigers, Newcastle, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose I'm going to say man of the match is going to be Papali'i, and I'm going to say first try scorer Wanga Blake on return. Why not?
Okay.
After he has not passed the ball.
4 p.m. is the Storm and Dragons. Ravalawa comes back in for one of the Fay guys, and we see Smith, Munster and Grant all out for Storm. Isn't it ridiculous? They can lose all of those people and maybe we'll still tip them to win by 20. Riley Jacks plays 6. Nico stays at 1. Pappenhausen named on the extended bench, which might suggest that would Nico move into 6 if that was the case, or Riley keep 6, do you think?
Nico probably go to 14 and Smoothie out of the team, I would imagine.
Either way, they're going to smash him. Olam first try and Hughes man of the match, having complete control today. So, Ollie?
If the Dragons turn up like they did, let's say, for the first 5 weeks or so, they're not going to win, obviously, but against a weakened Melbourne side, they could put in a respectable performance. Just because I've been backing them all year because of my bold prediction, I'm going to say they do and be a bit different. I'm going to say it's 14. Melbourne win by, they get it done in the end. I believe, actually, when Melbourne had a few players out, it was the last round of the year, so they rested a bunch of players that actually lost to the Dragons. I'd say Melbourne still win this one. Jerome Hughes, man of the match, he's got to be directing him around the park, especially with those influential names out of the side. And for first try scorer, I'm going to go with Remus Smith to keep up the hot form that he's found.
Oh, you've been reading my notes or what? You dirty bastard.
Let me try to read your notes.
Well, Tyrell Furumiano is going into the centres to defend against Remus Smith. Surely there's another fucking centre you can put in there than a bloke who can barely hold his position in the back row, and then you're going to get him up against someone like Remus Smith with Jerome Hughes running on his inside and fucking and then you got George Jennings on his outside, so he's going to be standing there going, who do I...
You're only betting which way they're going to pass forward. He's going running backwards going, oh...
Who do I tackle? The bloke running on my inside shoulder, the bloke on my outside shoulder that's heaps faster than me, or the bloke who's just going to dance around me when he gets the fucking ball? They're going to go to that right side fucking all night. Jerome Hughes is going to be man of the match. Remus Smith is probably going to score a hat trick, and it's going to be Melbourne fucking 30 plus. Fuck
Ollie, if Pappenhausen's laid in, are you sticking by 14 or are you changing that?
Well, I'm sticking by it, or it all depends on the Dragons, honestly, because this Melbourne side can blitz this Dragon side. If you're right, they do show up like they did against the Tigers, especially.
Well, the Dragons a team the reserve grade Melbourne
lost to.
They lose or win?
They lost.
Okay, they beat someone else. Okay.
I don't think the Dragons flogged them. But
yeah, it was very close. They probably should have won. Yeah, sorry, no, I was just thinking.
Yeah, they should have beat Parra as well when there were a few players out. But anyway, look, I'd say I'd stick with it. But again, it all depends on how because if the Dragons turn up, they're definitely not going to win. But they can, as I said, put in a respectable game even against Melbourne. What I would change is maybe then Pappenhausen becomes my man of the match because it takes that pressure.
Pack might go close to holding the Melbourne pack, but then when you get down to the benches and you got Billy Burns up against
the other one we didn't mention is Bromwich playing 9.
If Pappenhausen comes in and Smoothie goes out, that bench just tears the fucking Dragons bench apart.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, too,
I can't see the Dragons getting close.
It's going to be, if it does happen as well, it's going to be an attack. So you're going to be wanting a bit of a higher scoring game because you're right, the Forge just aren't going to keep up. But you're going to need your Hunt to step up, and you've got your boy Ravalawa was
back. Your prediction doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, they're going to hammer. The Dragons' only hope is to hammer Jack Bird and hope that Ravalawa comes with him and they get a few points down that right side with Dufty sweeping her in and around the back, but can't see that.
Let's move on. Titans play Panthers to wrap up Magic Round. Capel goes out for Liam Martin to come in, poor buggers. And I think, Titans are same as last week.
$7 head to head. Fuck.
Fafita goes out. So do they? I haven't actually seen what happens now. Fafita's out. Do they move Tino back to the back row and start Mo?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Kind of hope so.
Surely that's the only
Tino's
thing that
got to
makes
go to
sense.
that edge, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
surely.
Yeah. And then they bring in another big bopper, Aaron Clark or McIntyre into
Yeah,
the middle.
McIntyre.
They'll probably just start Jamin Jolliffe second
Probably.
row. That's nothing against Jamin Jolliffe. He's a decent player, but
Doesn't
they
that make
shouldn't
all
do
the
that.
sense in the world just to do it? Anyway, Ollie, how are you looking at this game?
Penrith 13 plus, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. Look, if Penrith can beat the Titans by 40 if they want to. I don't know if they will, just because we bring it up all the time. It's Penrith. They'll probably play in second gear. So it could be less than 20 if Penrith deem it so.
But like I said, now everyone's back in position. There's less of a I don't think they have a second gear now. They're just...
I feel like they still do. Because
I feel like Crichton's put them up a
They
gear.
did to start the year as well before the injuries, you know what I mean? So I feel like... I will say Penrith 13 plus. It's up to Penrith how much more than 13 they want to win by. I'm going to say man of the match, Nathan Cleary, another no-look pass when they're probably up by 50, let's be honest. And first try scorer, Matt Burton, and we know how he's going to score it.
I've harped on about it all night. These edges are in a world of trouble. Crichton will set up Staines for the first try, and then he'll go on and score what he wants. He'll be man of the match, and they'll win by 20 or more. Barney, you?
Yeah, 13 plus Penrith. I was going to go kick out man of the match because I thought Fafita was going to be there, and it's that the Oli post and who's the best second rower run around at the moment. And Kiko was going to make a statement, but he doesn't have to now. So I'm going to go Appy as man of the match. He's just going to tear up that tired middle. And then Crichton first try scorer because Brian Kelly can't tackle shit.
It's exciting times. There's our tips for the weekend. We need to finish on our punting, even our punting disaster class.
Well, how do you stuff that up?
Our punting. Let's get a punt on. Punting disaster class, Barney.
Punting. I'm going to go Penrith. Oh, hang on. Is this even the right one? Yes. Penrith Raiders and Melbourne 13 plus at $5.50. I'm going to put $40 on that. And then I'm going to go Ponga. I'm going to go all the gun fullbacks. Ponga, Turbo, Teddy and Gutho, all to score at any time at $10.50.
I tried that once.
$10 on that.
Teddy cost me. But what a way to light Magic Round up if that does happen. Ollie, have you got something for us?
Yeah, this one's out of spite. Doesn't exactly stick to a prediction. Melbourne 1 to 12. Ravalawa 2 plus.
Okay. I tried to play 2 straight last week, so I'm going to go back to my try-scoring combos.
Yep.
Leilua and Dewey anytime. That's paying $9.10. $10
Which
on
Leilua?
that. Joey. I think Joey's found a bit of touch. Yep.
And Dewey?
Yep, anytime. That's $9.10.
Yep.
In the Manly game,
How much?
$10 on all of these.
Yep.
Turbo and Harper, $5. Anytime. In the Canberra game, Chris and Whiten both to score, $6.20. Going a little bit wide, Sebastian Chris and Jack Whiten both to score a try. Anytime.
Chris Whiten.
Yep.
Price?
$6.20.
Yep.
Sevo, Gutho and Cardi all to score, $12. $10 on that. And then the tatters in the last. Staines, 2-0, Crichton, Burton all to score, $11.
Staines, 2-0.
Burton, Crichton.
The whole back line. May as well chuck Edwards in there too.
Well, take that at your own leisure.
Your price?
$11 for that.
$11. Beautiful.
So we'll see how we go with them. We get one up, we're all happy. Good work, gentlemen. It's been fire. It's been fun. Ollie,
I haven't had fun.
You've nearly AJ'd up. So
to all the kids out there listening, this is a prime example of bullying, and you don't have to take it.
Get out of here, Ollie. All right. Good job, everyone. Find us on socials and enjoy your Magic Round. See you next week.
Mr. Potterwicker, Mr. Mo Potterwicker. Mr. Potterwicker, Mr. Mo Potterwicker.